Hi, I'm Lauren, and I'm going to give you a speech on attachment parenting. So picture this. It's 8:30, you're ready for bed, you have work really early tomorrow morning, and your kid won't stop crying or go to sleep. What do? Do you let him cry it out, or do you comfort him until he falls asleep? Well, the second option would be attachment parenting. And according to Dr. Laura Markham, the ability to self-soothe and manage anxiety later in life comes from being reliably soothed as an infant. So, attachment parenting can get a bad rap. Some people say that the parent has to breastfeed exclusively and on demand. You have to carry your baby all the time, and co-sleeping is a must, or bed sharing. Well, that's not the case. Attachment parenting is basically where you show your child that they're safe, you're going to handle their needs, and they're there, and they have trust in you, for their whole life. So the 4 topics that I want to briefly cover today are the benefits of co-sleeping and feeding on demand and self-weaning, baby wearing and the need of touch for infants, and parental responsiveness to crying. So let's start with co-sleeping. Co-sleeping or bed sharing basically means that your child is sleeping in the same room or the same bed as you. And co-sleeping or bed sharing has tons of impacts for both the parents and the children. A medical impact would be there's a reduced risk of sudden infant death syndrome. This is because the mother and the infant are sleeping together, so they're more in tune with each other's breathing, their heart rate, which causes the infant not to startle and wake up and start crying, and that's basically what causes SIDS. It's a startle reflex. Another positive impact is getting more sleep. So since the baby is more in tune with the mother or the parents that are in the room, they're less likely to wake up in the middle of the night and startle themselves, start crying, and need to be calmed down and put back to sleep by the parents. A positive impact for nursing mothers is that they can get more feeding session in throughout the night, but still getting 8 hours of sleep. And I can attest that this is true because I fed my daughter, we co-slept, and this not only helped me get a full 8 hours of sleep, but my husband was able to sleep all night too because he didn't have to get up or listen to the baby cry. This brings us to feeding on demand. So rather than keeping your baby on a schedule, whether it be every 2 hours, every 3 hours, you look for hunger cues and feed your baby whenever they're hungry. If you have a rapidly growing infant, you're not going to want to feed him every 2 hours and then wait an extra hour or something if he's hungry. You want to feed them whenever they're actually hungry. Once you have that down and your child is interested in solids, and that's whenever you would start self-weaning, which is basically just adding solid food and taking away formula or milk. That brings us to holding your baby, or the need for human touch in infants. So by holding your baby, you're not only fulfilling a vital need that they have, but you're bonding with your baby. A study done by Hunziker and Barr showed that baby wearing for 3 hours a day reduced infant crying up to 43% and up to 54% during evening hours. So that means that carried babies cry less. And if you're carrying your baby, they build trust in you, and you're going to respond to their emotional and physical needs. Lastly, you want to respond to your child's emotions. When a baby cries, the parent's instinct is to soothe their child, whether it be you leaving them in the crib and they cry, or they're crying because they're hungry. If they're hungry and they cry, you're going to feed them. So why wouldn't you soothe their emotions while they're crying in the crib? Psychology professor at the University of Notre Dame, Dr. Narvis, says that leaving a child to cry to the point of extreme distress can harm the baby physically and emotionally in the future. This could come out in the form of depression or anxiety later in life. Whenever you leave your baby to cry in the crib, they go through a ton of phases of emotions, right? So first, they're sad because you left them. Then they go through an emotion where they don't know if you're coming back. You've deserted your child. Then they'll eventually stop crying because they've lost it. They've lost trust in you to come back. So the creator of the Cry It Out method, he's a pediatrician named Dr. Faber, and he developed this technique many years ago, and it's been used by many different parents. But he's later said that he regrets saying that it's okay to leave a crying infant alone in a room without going and soothing them. Attachment parenting isn't about giving in to your child's every desire. It's about getting to know your child and differentiating between their needs and their wants and having a trusting relationship with your child. Do you guys have any questions?